Time for the final vibes check here. We are back with another vibe check, and it is the Pioneer League this time around. We'll start it off, if we start all of them off, by taking a look at the overall standings, and then we will cut it back to the second half standings where we work our way from top to bottom on all the vibes here. We start off with Oakland, Missoula, Yuba Sutter, Boise, Idaho Falls, Ogden, Rocky Mountain, Grand Junction, Boise, Glacier, Great Falls, and Colorado Springs / NoCo. That is your current standings as of July the 28th. Looking at the second half standings, though, we have Missoula, Oakland, Rocky Mountain all tied 8-4 atop the board, with Idaho Falls, Yuba Sutter, Billings, Colorado Springs, Boise, Ogden, Glacier, Grand Junction, and Great Falls shaking it out there. Your first half champions are Oakland and Missoula. They have punched their playoff spot. There are 2 left for grabs. So, that all being said, we're going to work our way top to bottom using those second half standings. Let's get it started with Missoula. Vibes are always good in Missoula. You know, Mike Schlatt knows exactly how to manage his team. He's a great guy to be coached by, and he gets results in the regular season. We know this. We'd like to see a little bit more out of him in the postseason, but for now, vibes remain high in Missoula. Looking at Oakland, well, Oakland has done very well as well. I mean, they have been just a dominant force overall this season. 15 losses on the year. I mean, come on, that's an incredible feat. They really are a dominant force in the Pioneer this year, and they've continually gotten better. Each step after each other has been forward, and overall, I really do like this team. I think they're a solid team. I think they're one of the better teams here, and the vibes around them cannot possibly be higher. Rocky Mountain, I don't know if I buy into them. They're a little bit Fugazi team. As with everything in the Pioneer, it depends a lot on who you're playing as to whether or not that record is what it says it is. But the vibes are still remaining high. Right now, they are a playoff team, if I'm not mistaken. We'd have to take a look at the overall standings, and perhaps we should do it that way. They aren't far off of a playoff spot, I should say. Right now, it's Yuba Sutter and Boise that are sitting in it. So we will see how all of that shakes itself out here. But Rocky Mountain, I do have concerns about their overall game. Vibes are, well, the vibes. So we'll check them later on there. Idaho Falls is the team that's closest to securing one of those wildcard spots. It's not currently in one. Or a team that's kind of up and down. They tricked us early on. Then they start coming on again. They're a hard team to get a read on. Confused vibe, but a vibe that's still an overall, productive sense of a team. Far from the worst team over here. We will get to those worst teams in just a second here. But yeah, Idaho Falls, not terrible. I do think they could lock down a wildcard spot, as well as Yuba Sutter, which has been really good under Billy Horton. We know Billy can manage very well. We know he cares about his guys, and we know he can put the talent on the field and in a position to succeed as needed. And I think that's going to be the case here. They've had a good season so far. I think things are going to continue to do well, and I think they are going to lock down another playoff spot. We go now to Boise, and this is where we start getting into these teams that I don't necessarily believe in, and where this is going to be one of the quicker vibe checks that we've done here. Billings not really been great. 500 Ball Club probably best describes them. They do certain things really well, and they do other things very poorly. That's the best way of describing them as a whole. I don't love the team a lot. I think they are what their record says they are. Vibes are, middling. Looking at Colorado Springs, this is an interesting one here, if for no other reason than the first half of this year, which is a complete train wreck off the field for this team. And when you have that situation in the background, it's impossible for it to not affect you on the field. Now that's been largely sorted out for the remainder of the year, they've turned it around. They've looked pretty solid. And quite frankly, I think this 500 pace is more what this group is than anything else. They had a horrific first half because you didn't have any stability off the field. You were concerned about bouncing checks and things of that nature. The vibe has largely improved when you've had the stability there. It would be kind of funny to watch them go on a postseason run. I just don't think that's going to happen. They're not a good enough team to make it happen. But overall, it's an improved vibe, but an unfortunate one still that exists there. Boise is a team that just came out of the gate hot, took advantage of that, and then tricked us all into thinking they were something they weren't. This is what they are. They've struggled a lot since that hot start, and yeah, there's not much else to say about this team. They're not that great. Same thing with Ogden. They had a little bit of a hot stretch to kind of trick us. They are just below 500 club. That record holds true. That record is accurate. That record is the tail of the tape and is 100%, in my opinion, accurate there. We look at a set of now 4-8 teams to wrap this up. Glacier, they haven't been good all year. And quite frankly, they needed a lot of help to sneak in last year. So this is what I think they are. Nicest facilities in the league, though. I will give them that. And off the field, they're doing things right. But on the field, it's just a bit of a struggle. And the rotating carousel at manager probably doesn't help at all either. But yes, Glacier is what Glacier is. Grand Junction and Great Falls could both kind of be lumped into the same conversation. So we'll just kind of lump it there to avoid being overly negative on back-to-back cases here. These are teams that don't really know what the hell they're doing and are genuinely not good teams. I question their construction. I question their overall game plan. I don't really know what the situation is there. I don't think either one are doing great and healthy off the field. So that's definitely a factor in there. And again, as we said a moment ago with Colorado Springs, when there's struggles off the field, it leaks onto the field. And I think that is a major factor in it. And it takes a lot to be able to block that out and just do your job and do it well. When it's things involving finances or anything of that nature, it becomes even more difficult. And I do question and wonder long-term what these teams turn into. But moreover, just for this year, how low will it go? And overall, those vibes are not passing the vibe check. They're very rough. And hopefully they'll straighten themselves out as a team before we have to really have a more difficult conversation as a whole. So that is the end of the vibe checks. That is how they all shook out. Hopefully the series was productive. Hopefully you guys liked it. And hopefully we'll do a little bit more later on. We'll be back sometime in September with our postseason previews for everybody. But until then, don't forget to play ball.